Hi there, this is Jong, CEO of VRIFY Technology. With me today is Robert Waugh, MD of Musgrave Minerals. Excited for this conversation. Coming from a high-grade background myself, I can say I've never seen results like this before. Maybe I'll pass it over to you, Rob. Just introduce yourself and let's get right into it.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks, Steve. Looks fantastic results at our project in Cue. So we're in Western Australia, exceptionally high grade. So you can see some of the numbers coming through here, but really, really strong numbers and strong grades. And what we're seeing is some very high grades, really close to surface. And just as an example, you got 14 meters and 190 grams, and it's only at 4 meters below surface. So we're in an environment here where these grades could lead to really good margins. New discoveries in gold in Western Australia, so one of the best mining jurisdictions in the world, according to the Fraser Institute.
So 19 grams over 14 meters would be considered a very high grade result. 190 grams over 14 meters, sitting 4 meters from surface. You don't see you don't see a lot of those. You must be. I keep seeing these top 10 intercepts of the week and of the month and so on. These results must be sitting right at the top of those charts.
Oh, absolutely, Steve. They're fantastic numbers and a really exciting time for us as we continue to drill and develop this project. So these results, the grades we're seeing within these quartz veins within the structures are exciting, and we think these will lead to fantastic margins as we move forward with this project. So we're starting to we've just completed a stage 1 PFS, which has looked at the pit shapes, so the open cut shapes, to develop these really high grade deposits. You can see in here too, we've got the yellow, which is some of the underground drives planned for this project after we complete or get close to completion of the open cuts. So this is a really unique project in the West Australian outback. It's only 6 to 7 hours from Perth in Western Australia. So, and very close to the Great Northern Highway, which runs about 3 kilometres from the project. And that highway links Perth to the Pilbara region, which produces a lot of the world's iron ore. So good infrastructure.
And so the plan here is small series of smaller open pits at surface, and then once you get to the lower sections, put a portal in and go underground.
Yeah, correct. And from this design, you can see here that the portal actually is sitting over here at the bottom of this pit, and then driving across to mine underground here at this break of day ore body. So at the moment, we're only extending the pit down to about 160 meters, and then below that, underground development down to about 250. Now, what's really important is that these areas in here are still open at depth. So we haven't drilled this very deeply. This is only drilled to about 280 odd meters, but they're still open. So we've still got space in here to discover more ore and continue that exploration and build the resource base.
And just looking at what looks like the complete drill hole database, have you poked any holes down there to other depths, or saving that for a later day?
No, good question. So we have been focused on the near term and near surface environment. We think we can get better margins in that. Obviously, cheaper to drill near surface, also cheaper to develop near surface. So over the next 12 months, we'll start testing a little bit deeper in these ore bodies, and the intent is to be drilling it at this depth down here in around 6 months' time. So the intent will be to put a couple of those deeper holes in and see what that continuity is at depth, Steve.
And just to be clear, the blue and the green that we're looking at here, my understanding is this is the blue is the indicated and the green is inferred, or vice versa.
Yeah, that's correct. So when we're looking at these resources, we're seeing different levels of drilling, and within that drilling is under the JORC classifications of indicated and inferred. So yes, you are correct there, Steve. Green is the more data effectively in the indicated category, and then the blue is what we're hoping to convert and get into a mine plan, which is currently inferred category.
And what stage, as far as your mine planning studies, what stage are we at?
So we've just completed this first stage of the PFS. So the first stage of the PFS looks at design. So here we can see some of the design. We've been focusing on this northern area at where we've got this break of day deposit, a relatively modest size open cut down to about 160 metres, and the other deposits around it. You can see the infrastructure layout in this image. We've got a salt lake to the north, so a very dry lake. And then this area through here where we've got the main infrastructure and about 6 open cuts, and with a small underground at break of day. So early stages as far as the exploration model goes, we think we can continue to discover more gold and build the resource base. But the project looks really good so far, and the stage 1 economics look fantastic. So really strong margins, Steve.
And then do you end up producing from each of these pits at the same time, or are we moving sort of 2 at a time and rotating through them?
Yeah, that's correct. So the intent is to sort of have a maximum of 3 surfaces and open cuts working at any one time. And that gives us that balance of ores and different grade ores moving to the mill, but also allows us to systematically test and move forward with this project in that you can't operate all surfaces at once. So in doing that, yeah, we systematically schedule that mining.
And for the most part, when you look at the resource grade in these various pits, consistent, or do you have your higher grade pits that I'm assuming would probably be earlier stage in your mine life, or how do you balance that out?
Yeah, really good question. So the early stage pits are these northern ones we're seeing here, and these are really focused on that higher grade. So some of those grades we were just looking at are these pits up here. So as we move forward, we'll blend some of that, but you can see the quality of drilling. It's this northern area that really is the higher grade component. And then we'll move towards mining some of these smaller pits and these lower grade component ore bodies as we continue to develop and move through from year 1 through to post year 5 in this project.
So that must give you, I would assume that gives you a little bit of flexibility too, if you're doing other regional exploration work, or I guess whether it's regional or deeper, if you're discovering zones and other components that are higher grade, a little bit of flexibility in your mine plan, you might ultimately displace some of the, would that be accurate? Might displace some of the lower grade pits, or not displace, but push back and prioritize other zones as new areas are found?
Completely. That's exactly right, Steve. So at the moment, the focus really is on this high grade component. But we continue with the exploration. So we know that there's a lot of structure in here that's controlling the mineralisation. We're seeing structures running in this orientation. We're looking at a gravity image here. And so when we see the intersection of these structures is where we're finding these deposits. We're seeing deposits at the intersection of these points, and we've got others that we're continuing to test moving forward that have not yet been tested. So as we continue to test these, there's opportunity to make new discoveries and high-grade discoveries, and they will then potentially, as you mentioned, offset some of the lower-grade discoveries later in the project life. That'll improve the economics and obviously give a good benefit for shareholders, creating value.
Yeah, and I would assume extend the mine life as well.
Correct, Steve. Yeah, extending the mine life as well.
Interesting. And then, so what's the regional plan? Is that it sounds like a bit of a 2-prong approach, kind of advance the project, sort of the I don't know if foundational value is the right word, but sort of the thing that you know about the mine plan and kind of building on what you know, but at the same time look for the kind of the next big win and the new discovery regionally. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's correct, Steve. So we know that we've got some success, and we've just made a new discovery here at Amarillo. This is not yet in the mine plan. You can see there's no blue and green resource shapes around this area. But as you can see from those results, they're not as spectacular as the break of day results, but there's some relatively good numbers here with 23 metres at over 4 grams, only 26 metres below surface. So that's exciting. We're continuing to drill here. And this is at Amarillo, and this will add to the mine plan. So we are seeing a lot of opportunity and continuing, as you said, both a 2-pronged attack is continuing to de-risk the project as we head towards more advanced studies, but also continuing the exploration and find new discoveries and add those to the mine plan.
Yeah, it seems like you might be getting a little spoiled with some of those incredible results because 24 grams over 7 meters. I'm sure there's a lot of companies that would still be very, really excited about that. That's these are still incredible results close by.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got lots of opportunity moving forward, both at an exploration sense, but also at a development sense. So, with that in mind, we think this is a really fantastic opportunity for the company, and we're continuing to grow it. So, the grades are spectacular, and we're continuing to move forward. So these are some more grades that we're seeing here, but you can look at some of those numbers, and again, this is one of our other deposits, but 15 meters at over 100 grams at 25 meters depth. They really are spectacular, Steve, and we're looking forward to developing this project in the coming years.
Interesting. Okay, well, thanks for that. As far as for investors looking at the story, what can they expect to see over the coming months?
We're expecting a number of results to come through over the next month. So we've had exploration and both infill and extensional drilling programs underway. We'll have exploration results coming through, and also some infill converting inferred to indicated, and they'll be through some of our high grade deposits. So we do expect some really good results as we continue to de-risk this project, but also to grow it and look for extensions to that known mineralisation. So that's probably over the next 4 to 6 weeks, Steve. We've also got infill programs planned from there on, and extensional programs as well. So it should be a really busy time over the next 6 months as we continue to extend and de-risk the project.
Exciting times. Well, thank you for taking the time today. I appreciate it. Anything else you want to touch on before we sign off?
Look, really quite a unique opportunity. And look, gold is a pretty good space to be in. We think gold will be fairly strong over the next 12 months and longer, Steve. So good place to be, a good jurisdiction, and really high grades.
Okay, great. Robert, thanks again for taking the time today and taking us through the story.
Always great, Steve. Thanks for being with us, and great to update the market, and fantastic job that VRIFY are doing, and it's really good to show that 3D aspect to the general public.
Appreciate that. Okay. All right. Till next time.
Thanks, Steve. Cheers, mate.